Hi, this is Bobbi from the Vespasian Warner Public Library District, and I'm here with another tale from the archive where we talk about documents and objects from our local history collection. Back in October 2024, the library partnered with Celebrate Clinton and with a grant from Constellation Energy created the Founders Day Scavenger Hunt. We had 10 locations throughout Clinton where patrons could go, find a sign to learn a little bit about that location, come back to the library and collect a prize. It was a lot of fun. But for those of you who weren't able to participate in the scavenger hunt or who may want to learn a little bit more, we are starting a series of YouTube videos about each location that was on the scavenger hunt. And here in episode 1, we're going to start with Barnet Tavern. In the 1850s, a man by the name of Bob Barnet, together with his wife, whose name I unfortunately do not know, operated a tavern at what is now 202 South Center Street, just off the square. At this point in history, in the 1850s, a tavern wasn't kind of how we think of it today as like a bar. It would have been, served alcohol, but also would have served food and been basically an inn for travelers. And of course, the most famous traveler to come to Clinton in the 1850s was Abraham Lincoln, who was an attorney who went on the 8th Judicial Circuit around central Illinois. So Lincoln was frequently seen going from the courthouse on the square, right in the middle of the square, down to Barnet's Tavern. That's where he would frequently stay. He would eat there, he would play games, and he would sit on the veranda and just people watch. And the other patrons always enjoyed it when Lincoln came to Barnet's Tavern because he would tell some of his wonderful humorous stories and stories from his travels around Illinois. The library's benefactor, Vespasian Warner, was a teenager when Lincoln first came to town, and his family actually lived just across the street from Barnet's Tavern, roughly where the funeral home is now. And he remembered the first time he saw Abraham Lincoln come to town, and he said, "I saw a tall man with a plug hat on, his hands behind his back, and he was walking between two well-dressed men, one on each side of him, looking up into his face. I wondered what those gentlemen saw in that fellow to pay any attention to him." Of course, Vespasian Warner would later go on to say what a wonderful man Lincoln was and the good memories he had of him. We unfortunately do not have any images of Barnet's Tavern, but we do have a few older images of Clinton from just slightly after Lincoln's time, so the 1870s. This is the second courthouse in DeWitt County. That was right in the middle of the square. It was a simple 2-story brick building. We don't have a date on this photograph, but judging by the suits the men are wearing, I'm going to say 1870s. This one we do have dated from 1879, and I brought it because it kind of gives you a feel for what Clinton would have looked like in Lincoln's time. This large building here in the background, that's the McGill Hotel. It was not built until 1879, so it did not exist during Lincoln's lifetime. But you can see there's just so much empty space, and the other buildings in the background behind the courthouse, which is the brick building in the foreground, are very, very simple wooden buildings. So this is more like Lincoln would have known it. And you can see that again here, a better view of the courthouse. This is from 1890. So this has been 3 years before the second courthouse was replaced with the third courthouse, which is the one that many of us remember. This map of Clinton is from 1869. So again, after Lincoln's time, but gives you an idea of the layout of the town. And it would have been less built up during Lincoln's time, but not by a huge amount. So here's the square up here. You can see the second courthouse, and Barnet's Tavern would have been just right here on Center Street, just right off of it. And that might be the Barnet's Tavern there. I am not certain because I don't have a photograph to know what it looks like. If you are interested and here in town, I would recommend going to the corner of Center Street and the square because there is a wonderful Looking for Lincoln Wayside sign there that talks more about Barnet's Tavern and gives more information. And it was written by Clinton's own wonderful local historian, Joey Long. So thank you so much for joining me for this tale from the archive, and I hope to see you soon.